When your wife tells you we're better as friends, you know something's fundamentally broken. But what Chelsea didn't expect was that I'd take her words absolutely, completely literally. We'd been married for 6 years. Met in college at the University of Washington, fell in love over shared pizza at Pagliacci's and late-night study sessions at the library, got married in a small ceremony in Portland with just our closest friends and family. For the first 4 years, everything felt right. We weren't perfect. We argued about stupid things like whether to get a cat or a dog, whose turn it was to clean the bathroom, and Chelsea's habit of leaving cabinet doors open. But we were us. Sam and Chelsea. Chelsea and Sam. A team. Then something shifted, like a tectonic plate moving deep underground before the earthquake hits the surface. It started so small I almost missed it. Chelsea began staying late at her marketing firm downtown, a boutique agency called Elevation Creative that specialized in tech startups. She'd come home at 9, sometimes 10 at night, exhausted and distant, barely speaking except to ask if there was any dinner left. She'd eat reheated pasta or Chinese takeout in front of the TV, while scrolling through her phone, laughing at things she wouldn't share with me. When I'd try to hold her hand during a movie, she'd give me this distracted squeeze, the kind you'd give a coworker, not your husband, and pull away after a few seconds. Our conversations became purely transactional. Can you pick up milk? The water bill is due. Your mom called. Okay. Nothing deeper. Nothing real. The affection dried up first, like a river in drought. Then the laughter. We used to crack each other up over nothing, inside jokes that went back years. Then the eye contact. She started looking just past me when we talked, focusing on a spot over my left shoulder. I kept asking if everything was okay. Just stressed with work, she'd say, waving her hand dismissively. The new campaign for that AI startup is killing me. My boss is breathing down my neck about deadlines. I believed her because I wanted to. Because the alternative was too terrifying to consider. Because we'd promised each other for better or worse. And I thought we were just in a rough patch. Every marriage has rough patches, right? 3 months ago, on a rainy Tuesday evening in Seattle, the kind of relentless drizzle that makes the city feel gray and heavy, she said it for the first time. We were sitting on our couch, the charcoal gray sectional we'd picked out together at that furniture warehouse in Tacoma 2 years earlier. I remembered that day clearly. We'd argued playfully about whether gray or navy was more us, and she'd won by doing this cute little dance when she found the perfect piece. I'd laughed and agreed, just happy to see her happy. Now that same couch felt like enemy territory. I'd made her favorite pasta, penne with vodka sauce, extra basil, garlic bread on the side. She barely touched it, pushing the noodles around her plate like a bored kid at dinner. Sam, she said finally, not looking at me. Her eyes were fixed on her wine glass, which she was turning slowly in circles. You're an amazing person. You really are. My chest tightened instantly. My throat went dry. Nothing good ever follows those words. That's the universal preface to heartbreak. But I've been thinking, maybe we're just better as friends, you know? Like we're great together, but maybe not in this way anymore. The words hit me like cold water. I stared at her, searching her face for some sign she was joking, that this was some weird test. What does that mean? I don't know. She finally looked at me, and her eyes were distant, like she was already somewhere else. I need space to figure things out. Find myself again. I feel like I lost myself in this marriage. Find herself. The classic line. The thing people say when they've already found someone else, but don't have the guts to admit it yet. Did I do something wrong? I asked, hating how small my voice sounded. No, Sam. You didn't do anything wrong. You're perfect. That's almost the problem. She sighed, setting down her wine. You're safe and steady and reliable, and I love that about you, but... She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't have to. I didn't sleep that night. Or the next. Or the one after that. I kept replaying every moment of our relationship, searching for where I'd gone wrong, what I'd missed, what I could have done differently. Had I been too complacent? Too boring? Had I stopped pursuing her the way I did when we were dating? Had I let myself go? I was still in decent shape, still had a good job at Amazon as a senior developer, still tried to plan date nights even when she canceled them. But deep down, in that place where you know the truth before you're ready to admit it, that gut instinct that's almost never wrong, I knew this wasn't about me needing to change. This was about someone else. I started paying attention after that night. Really paying attention, the way you notice everything about a house once you suspect there's a leak somewhere in the walls. Her phone, which used to sit casually on the kitchen counter while she cooked or did laundry, was now always face down, always within arm's reach, always with her. She took it to the bathroom. She slept with it under her pillow. When notifications came in, she'd glance at the screen and quickly flip it over, a flash of something, guilt? Excitement, crossing her face. She'd started wearing new perfume too, something expensive and floral that I hadn't bought her. Her work clothes got nicer, more carefully chosen. She spent more time on her makeup in the mornings. All signs that she was dressing for someone. Her late nights at work increased from occasional to routine, 3, then 4 times a week. Weekend team-building exercises appeared on our shared calendar. Team retreat, Mount Rainier, client dinner downtown, strategy session off-site. Always vague. Always impossible to verify. And then there was Kevin. Kevin from work. The name first appeared about 5 months ago, casually dropped into conversation. Kevin suggested this great restaurant in Belltown. Kevin thinks we should pivot the campaign strategy. Kevin's really good at handling difficult clients. Kevin. He was just really supportive during this difficult campaign. He totally gets the pressure she's under, in ways I apparently couldn't. Kevin had gone to Stanford for business school. Kevin ran marathons. Kevin had traveled to 30 countries. Kevin was funny and spontaneous and understood her creative vision. I started to hate the name Kevin. Then about 2 months ago, his name suddenly stopped appearing in her conversations. Complete radio silence. No more Kevin said this, or Kevin and I grabbed lunch. Nothing. That was even more suspicious. When someone stops mentioning a person they used to talk about constantly, it usually means that person has become too important to mention casually. Too intimate. Too secret. I'm not proud of what I did next, but I'm not ashamed either. Sometimes you need proof to trust your instincts, to know you're not going crazy. One Thursday evening, while she was in the shower, her phone buzzed on the nightstand. I glanced at it reflexively and froze. The preview showed enough. Last night was incredible. Can't stop thinking about you. When can I see you again? Face blowing a kiss. The sender, Kevin with a heart emoji next to his name. My hands shook as I picked up her phone. My heart pounded so hard I thought I might pass out. I knew her passcode, 0824, her birthday, because we'd never hidden them from each other. We'd always said we had nothing to hide, that trust meant transparency. That felt like a bitter, cruel irony now. I opened the messages with trembling fingers, and my entire world collapsed. Months of messages. Hundreds, maybe thousands of them. The scroll bar was tiny, indicating a massive conversation history. It started innocently enough 4 months ago. Work stuff, funny memes, casual chat. Then the tone shifted. Compliments became flirtier. You look amazing today became, I can't stop staring at you in meetings. Innocent emoji became suggestive ones. Then photos. Her in a new dress. What do you think? His response, stunning. He's a lucky guy. Her reply, he doesn't notice anymore. That one felt like a knife between my ribs. The messages escalated. Late-night conversations about their dreams, their frustrations, their desires. Him telling her she deserved more excitement in her life. Her saying she felt alive when she was with him. Planning to grab drinks after work, that I now realized were never just drinks. Then came the explicit messages. The hotel room numbers. The I need you texts. The photos I'll never be able to unsee. Not anything inappropriate, but worse. Photos of her smiling, genuinely smiling, in ways she hadn't smiled at me in forever. Photos of them together at restaurants I'd suggested, but she'd said she was too tired for. Photos of weekend trips I'd been told were girls' weekends with her friend Melissa. I read these dialogues 3 times, my vision blurring with tears I refused to let fall. He won't suspect anything. He never does. Those last 5 words were the ones that hurt most. He never does. Like I was stupid. Like my trust was foolishness. Like loving your wife and believing her when she spoke was a character flaw. I took screenshots. Every single incriminating message, every photo, every hotel receipt she'd sent him for reimbursement. I sent them all to my personal email in a folder labeled Evidence. Then I carefully deleted the sent messages from her email trash, cleared the recently sent list, and put her phone back exactly where it was, screen down, charging cable at the same angle. My hands were steady now. The shaking had stopped. Something cold and clear had settled over me, like ice forming on a lake. When she came out of the shower 10 minutes later, wrapped in the white Turkish cotton robe I'd given her for Christmas last year, her hair wet and smelling like coconut shampoo. I was sitting on the bed looking perfectly calm. "Hey," she said, almost cheerful. Probably thinking about Kevin and their weekend plans. Probably already mentally packing her lingerie. "Hey," I replied evenly. "Good shower?" "Yeah, really good." "Hey, listen, I think I'm going to visit my sister in Denver this weekend. She's been asking me to come out for a while, and I feel bad that I keep putting her off." Her sister Rachel lived in Boston and was 7 months pregnant. There was no trip to Denver. Just Kevin in a hotel room and my wife's lies. "That sounds nice," I said with a gentle smile that felt like it might crack my face. "You should go. You've been so stressed lately. You deserve a break." She looked almost surprised by how easily I accepted it, a flicker of confusion crossing her face before relief settled in. "Really? You don't mind?" "Of course not." I stood up and kissed her forehead, forcing myself not to recoil. "We're friends, right? Friends support each other." Something flickered across her face, maybe guilt, maybe uncertainty, but it passed quickly. "Right. Thanks, Sam. You're the best." "I know," I said quietly. She didn't hear the edge in my voice. That was Tuesday. She left Friday morning at 6 a.m., kissing my cheek like everything was normal, like she wasn't about to spend the weekend having sex with Kevin in some boutique hotel in Denver while her husband sat at home like an idiot. "Love you," she said at the door, pulling her rolling suitcase. "You too," I replied, and watched her car turn the corner. The moment she disappeared from view, I got to work. I'd been preparing all week, making quiet calls during my lunch breaks at work, organizing documents in a locked folder on my laptop, talking to lawyers in hushed tones from coffee shops far from our neighborhood. My buddy Marcus from law school had given me an emergency consultation on Wednesday night at a bar in Fremont. He'd been through a messy divorce 3 years ago. His ex-wife had cheated with her personal trainer, a cliché so painful it was almost funny, and he knew the drill intimately. "First rule," Marcus had said, nursing his whiskey, "protect yourself. Secure everything that's legally yours. Don't be vindictive, but don't be stupid either. Cheaters will take everything they can if you let them." "I don't want to be cruel," I'd said. "I just want out." "Then be smart. Document everything. Separate finances. Understand your assets. Washington's a no-fault state, so the affair won't matter much for the divorce itself, but it'll matter for negotiating terms. She's less likely to fight you if she knows you have evidence." I'd taken his advice seriously. The joint savings account we'd built together over 6 years? I'd done the careful math with a spreadsheet. My income as a senior developer at Amazon had contributed roughly 70% of our savings, about $87,000 of the $124,000 total. Chelsea's marketing salary was decent, but nowhere near mine. I withdrew $87,000 and transferred it to a personal account I'd opened at a different bank across town. Left her $37,000 untouched. Clean. Fair. Legally defensible. The house was the big one, our biggest asset and the thing I'd worried about most. We'd bought it 4 years ago in the Ballard neighborhood, a modest 3-bedroom craftsman with a small backyard, right before the Seattle market exploded. But here's the crucial detail: I'd bought it. The $120,000 down payment came entirely from my inheritance when my grandmother passed away 2 months before we went house hunting. She'd left me $150,000, and I'd used most of it to secure our future. The title was in my name only. Chelsea's credit score had been too low at the time to co-sign. She'd had some credit card debt from her early 20s that had tanked her score to around 620. She'd been embarrassed about it, and I'd assured her it didn't matter, that we were a team, that we'd add her name to the title later once her credit recovered. We'd talked about doing it several times over the years, but never got around to the actual paperwork. Too busy, too lazy, always something more pressing to deal with. That oversight, that simple administrative delay, was now my salvation. Legally, the house was mine. My down payment, my name on the mortgage, my sole ownership. In a divorce, separate property acquired before marriage, or through inheritance, typically remains separate, especially if it's never been commingled or retitled. I called a locksmith Thursday afternoon, a professional, discreet company with good reviews. "I need all the locks changed tomorrow," I told them. "Every door, new deadbolts, new garage code. Can you do same-day service?" "Sure thing," the guy said. "Emergency lockout?" "Something like that." They arrived at noon on Friday, an hour after Chelsea's flight to Denver would have taken off. Two guys in company shirts spent 90 minutes installing new Schlage deadbolts on the front door, back door, and side garage entrance. They programmed a new code for the garage door opener. The old keys, the ones Chelsea had on her keyring, would now work on nothing. Then came the hard part, packing her belongings. I did it carefully, methodically, without anger. This wasn't about revenge or cruelty. This was about boundaries and self-respect. I packed her clothes from the closet, all the dresses and blouses and jeans and shoes, carefully folded or hung on a rolling rack I bought from Target. Her toiletries from the bathroom, her jewelry from the dresser, her books from the shelves. Photos of her family went into a separate box, wrapped in bubble wrap. Her laptop, her art supplies, her college yearbooks, the ceramic mug collection she'd started. Everything that was unquestionably hers went into labeled boxes and suitcases. I'm not a monster. I didn't throw things or damage anything. I packed like I was helping her move to a new apartment, because essentially, that's what was happening. By Sunday afternoon, I'd filled 18 boxes and 3 suitcases. I stacked them neatly in the garage, organized by category: clothes, bathroom, personal items, books, and miscellaneous. Left her parking space completely clear, so she'd have room to load up a truck. On the front door, I taped a manila envelope. Inside was a printed note on plain white paper and a single key, access to the garage only, so she could retrieve her belongings. The note read, "Chelsea, you were right. We are better as friends. And friends don't live together, especially when one of them is in a relationship with someone else. Your belongings are packed in the garage, organized and ready for pickup. You have 2 weeks to arrange retrieval. After that, I'll have them placed in storage at your expense, and you can coordinate with the storage facility directly. Divorce papers have been filed with King County Superior Court. You'll be served officially early next week. Given the circumstances and the evidence I have of your affair with Kevin, I think we both know a clean break is best. The house is solely in my name, purchased with my inheritance. The savings have been divided proportionally based on our respective contributions. You'll find this is all legally sound. I hope you find whatever you were looking for. Take care. Sam. P.S. Give Kevin my regards. I hope he makes you happier than I apparently did." I read it 3 times, making sure the tone was firm but not cruel, factual but not vindictive. Then I sealed the envelope and taped it at eye level on the front door. I didn't stick around to see her reaction. I'd already packed my own bag, a hiking backpack with clothes, toiletries, my laptop, and a good book, and booked a cabin near Lake Quinault in the Olympic National Park for 4 days. I needed space, distance, nature. Somewhere without cell service, without memories, without the ghost of my marriage haunting every room. I left Saturday morning at dawn, driving west through the mountains as the sun rose over the Cascades behind me. The Olympic Peninsula stretched before me, vast and green and indifferent to human heartbreak. The cabin was perfect, a small A-frame structure deep in old-growth forest, with a wood stove, a tiny kitchen, and nothing but silence. No TV, spotty cell service, just trees and moss and the sound of rain on the roof. I spent the first day hiking through the Quinault rainforest, walking among Sitka spruce and western red cedar trees that had been alive for centuries. There's something humbling about standing next to a tree that's 800 years old. Your problems feel smaller. Your heartbreak feels temporary. I let myself grieve out there. Cried on a fallen log overlooking the lake, the kind of deep, ugly crying I'd been holding in for months. More not just my marriage, but the future I'd imagined. Kids maybe, growing old together, the life we'd promised each other on that sunny afternoon in Portland 6 years ago. But I also felt something unexpected, relief. Like a weight lifting. The constant anxiety of the last 3 months, the questioning, the doubt, the walking on eggshells, was gone. I knew the truth now. I'd taken action. I was free. My phone had service when I drove into the small town of Amanda Park for groceries Sunday afternoon. That's when the notifications exploded. 16 missed calls from Chelsea, all from Saturday evening. 37 text messages that went from confused to angry to panicked to pleading. I read them sitting in my truck in the grocery store parking lot, rain drumming on the windshield. Saturday, 6:47 p.m. Sam, what's going on? Why doesn't my key work? 6:53 p.m. This isn't funny. Call me. 7:02 p.m. Sam. Open the door. We need to talk. 7:15 p.m. You can't just lock me out of my house. 7:34 p.m. I read your note. This is insane. You're overreacting. 8:01 p.m. Fine. I'll get a lawyer. You can't just kick me out. 8:45 p.m. Please. Can we just talk about this like adults? 9:23 p.m. Sam, I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. It was a mistake. Please just let me explain. 10:17 p.m. I love you. This is all a huge mistake. Kevin means nothing. Sunday, 1:34 a.m. I'm staying at a hotel. I can't believe you're doing this. 9:12 a.m. My lawyer says you can't just change the locks. This is illegal. 11:47 a.m. Please talk to me. 6 years, Sam. 6 years means something. I stared at the messages, feeling nothing. No anger, no satisfaction, no guilt. Just a calm, clear certainty that I'd done the right thing. There were also 3 voicemails. I listened to them on speaker. The first was angry. You have no right to lock me out of my own house, Sam. This is my home too. You can't just. The message cut off abruptly. The second was desperate. Sam, please, just call me back. Let's talk. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you. But we can fix this. We can go to counseling. I'll end things with Kevin. Just please don't do this. Her voice cracked at the end. The third was quiet, resigned. I called my lawyer. He says the house is legally yours. And the savings split is fair. He says I don't have much ground to fight on. So I guess you win. I hope you're happy. The bitterness in her voice was palpable. I deleted all the messages. Blocked her number. Blocked Kevin's too, just in case he decided to get involved as the noble defender of his mistress. Blocked her on Facebook, Instagram, every social media platform we'd been connected on. Clean amputation. That's what Marcus had called it. When you remove a tumor, you cut clean and you don't look back. Monday morning, before heading back to Seattle, I met with Marcus and his colleague Sarah at their firm's downtown office, a sleek space on the 40th floor with views of Elliott Bay. Sarah was a divorce specialist, sharp and efficient. She'd reviewed all my documentation over the weekend. This is pretty straightforward, she said, laying out the papers on her conference room table. The house is separate property, your inheritance, your name only. The savings division is proportional and fair. No kids, no commingled assets of significant dispute. Washington's no fault, so the affair is emotionally relevant but not legally decisive. Will she fight it? I asked. Probably not, based on what her lawyer told her. But the texts you documented will be useful if she tries to claim any kind of abandonment or asks for spousal support. She was employed throughout, and she's the one who broke the marital contract, so to speak. Sarah smiled grimly. You'll be fine, Sam. This'll be over in 6 to 8 weeks if she's reasonable. We finalized the paperwork. I signed what felt like 100 pages, petition for dissolution, financial declarations, property division agreements. It felt surreal, reducing 6 years of marriage to a stack of legal documents. Chelsea was served at work Tuesday afternoon. Marcus told me later that the process server found her at Elevation Creative, their office in a converted warehouse in Soto. She'd apparently cried in the lobby when handed the documents, mascara running down her face, while her coworkers watched awkwardly. Part of me felt bad about that, the public humiliation, the embarrassment. But only a small part. She'd humiliated me privately for months. At least hers was quick. The next week was chaos I only heard about secondhand. Chelsea tried to come to my workplace. Security turned her away. I'd given them a heads up. She tried to contact my parents. My mom, bless her, told Chelsea she was disappointed in her choices, and hung up. My dad just texted me. Proud of you, son. Stay strong. She sent emails from new accounts I hadn't blocked. Long, rambling messages about how she'd made a mistake, how Kevin meant nothing, how she wanted to go to counseling, how we could fix this. But here's the thing about betrayal. Once the foundation cracks, you can't just patch it and pretend the structure is sound. She'd spent months lying to me, looking me in the eye and lying, making plans with another man while wearing her wedding ring, telling herself I was clueless, like it was my fault I'd trusted my wife. There was no coming back from that. The divorce moved quickly. No kids, clear asset separation, and after the first week of fighting, Chelsea's lawyer apparently told her she had no ground to stand on. The house was mine. The proportional savings division was fair. She made her own income. We were officially divorced 6 weeks after I changed the locks. Through mutual friends, I heard she and Kevin didn't last. Apparently, sneaking around is exciting, but actual relationships require work. Work Kevin wasn't interested in putting in. They broke up 2 months after my divorce was finalized. Chelsea moved back in with her parents in Spokane. I stayed in Seattle, kept the house, started therapy to process everything, not because I was falling apart, but because I wanted to understand how I'd missed the signs, how to trust again someday. 6 months later, I'm doing okay. Better than okay, actually. I've reconnected with old friends I'd neglected during the marriage. Started rock climbing at a gym in Fremont. Adopted a rescue dog named Murphy, who greets me like I'm the best thing in the universe every single day. Sometimes revenge isn't dramatic. It's not shouting or breaking things or elaborate schemes. Sometimes it's just taking someone at their word. She said we were better as friends. So I agreed. And then I built a better life without her in it. Because here's what I learned. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them. And when someone tries to reduce your worth to make space for their betrayal, don't argue. Just let them go. And watch them realize too late exactly what they've lost. Thank you for watching the video to the end. YouTube may no longer suggest my channel to you, so subscribe to it to receive new interesting stories. You will also help the channel grow and improve the quality of its content. A playlist with other interesting stories that you can listen to is now displayed on the screen. You can also write in the comments what stories you would like to see on the channel.